Hello and welcome back to our other Android programming video tutorial. In this video, we are going to look at the most common used attributes in Android programming. So to start, I'll begin by just deleting. Okay, let me delete all. I'm going to begin by deleting all the views that I was having before, and I have changed my views to the linear layout view, and it is having orientation vertical. Okay, we are beginning by defining them. So I've changed my linear layout to I've changed my main layout to linear layout. If you don't know, you just simply put linear layout and then press enter. So just like we talked in the previous video, that if you want to make a simple layout, you can use a linear layout because all the things are organized one next to the other, either in horizontal or in a vertical direction. So let us first look at these layouts that are inside, just within the linear layout. We have I'll just leave this one. I'll begin by my own. So I'm going to create a simple text view. To create a text view, I'll open the bracket and just write text, and then the text view will be suggested. I'll just press enter. So we begin with the first common layout. The common attribute. You see, the first common attribute is the layout width. So this layout width is the one that defines the width of a certain layout. It is a must to be defined. Otherwise, if you don't define the width of a certain layout, it will not do what? It will not work. So this width can be defined in different ways. First of all, there are two predefined ways that we can define width. The first one is the match parent, and this one will be matched 100% with its parent. The second one is wrap content, and this one will be as minimum as possible according to the what is contained inside the content that is contained inside this view. Here we have also let me put also wrap content, which is the height. So I'm going to put here just some plain text that we're going to use just to test. So I'm going to simply say text and say this is a test. So by doing that, I'm going to give it background. So let me just give background. These plain ones, I will explain them, these attributes, but right now let me just write them. I'll explain all of them. So I put background and give Android, and then I give maybe background black, and then I give text color because the texts are black also. So text color, I'll also make it Android white. Then after, I'll close. To close, you just put a /, and then it will do what? And it will be closed in case it's not going to contain anything. So we begin by defining these attributes so far that we have defined, that we have put here. We have the width. The width, is that it is this is the common attribute that you must define in every layout that you create or every view that you create. So this layout width, we can either make it wrap content or match parent. If we say match parent, it means that it's going to match the parent to be 100% according to the parent that contains it, as you can see here. We can as well specify in size. For example, you can specify like 100. Now when you put 100, then you must put a unit. So you can either put dp, you can put inches, you can either put millimeters, you can use either points, you can use pixels or sp. The best measurement, even if you're to use specific width, the best measurement is dp, because it is responsive according to the device that this application is being previewed at. So if I double click here, you'll see this dp will be put there. So that is when I've specified. I can also come down here and I also specify that my height will be 50. So it means that height is going to be 50/50. So even though I change this layout to any kind, either orientation, I make it landscape, this will remain 50/50, will not change. It will remain 50-50, will not change. So that is the width for you and the height for you. So if I say match parent, let me make them match parent, then I'll have the match parent, and then if I say also height should be wrap content, it means that the height will be also wrap content. It will be as minimum as possible. So I hope you've understood that. So if after doing that, I'm going to background. This background, we use it to change the background of a certain view. So you see I put background and then I reference from Android colors and I put black. Then we come to text. Text, this is the text that we use to put the content that's going to appear in a text view. Then we come to text color. Of course, this is going to determine the color of the text that is going to be displayed on this in this view. So I've explained these attributes as how I promised. Let me introduce one more attribute that is common, which is the font size or the text size. So just put size, and then you see Android is intelligent. Android Studio is intelligent. It will automatically suggest for you what you could be looking for. For example, me, I'm looking for what? For text size. So I'll simply press enter, and then I'll be able to specify the size. So if I define the size inside dimensions that we shall look at in the coming late days, I can also reference to it in the coming videos. We shall look at the dimensions in the coming videos. But since right now I've not defined any dimension, let me just use that my text size is 25 dp. Then I'll have 25 dp. So after doing that, now let us start looking at different attributes that are common almost to everything that every view that exists in Android. But before you do that, let me first give a different color that will give a difference between this black and the background white. I'm going simply to give here background here in the layout itself. I will give background maybe red, Android red. Let us see. Yeah, we have that one. Okay, that one will help us. So we see this one starts at the end and stops at the end. So let's start by looking at at the first at another attribute. The first one is the margin. So this margin, it helps us to specify margin, it helps us to specify how far a certain element should be from its neighbor. For example, this element is here, and if I want it to, the black element is inside this layout. So if I want it to be like 5 dp away from the margin or from the lines of the container, how will I do? I'll have to specify the margin. So if I simply put here margin, I can simply put like margin 10 dp. So you can see what has happened. You can see that there's a space that has been created here and here and here. Let us assume that our parent, our height was also having match parent. So you can see, even though it match parent, but you can see there's that line of red that has been created, and what creates that is what we call the margin. So it means that if I remove this margin, then that red line will be filled because it is matching the parent. So I hope you've understood the margin. Margin is the distance between the neighbor and the current view. So that's the meaning of margin. Before we go to another attribute, this margin you can still specify by saying, for example, margin top. So here it means that you need to specifically the margin for this layout from top. So if I make it, for example, 50 dp, right now we shall not see any change because there is a default margin. This margin is going to be implemented across all in case you do you don't specify which specific site. So if you don't specify and add another margin, for example, that is specific, for example margin top, this one cannot overwrite the one that was not specified. So if I want to remove it, I'll just simply delete that attribute, and then you'll see this margin has only been placed on top. For example, I can go ahead and play and suggest and put the margin bottom, okay, margin left, by simply putting margin left. So in Android, you just write the letters that you remember about the attribute, then Android Studio will do what will suggest for you. For example, you see what I've written is ML, because I know margin will start with the MA and the left will start with L. So if I press enter, I'll be able to specify the margin left that is going to be placed here. So if I say 50 or 40 dp, then you can also see this margin left has been spaced here. I can go ahead and specify margin bottom, and maybe make it 50 dp, and then you can see we have got something like that one. So it means that margin is the space between the neighbor and the what, and a certain view. Okay, so we go to padding. Padding is just like margin, but the difference between padding and margin, for padding is what the content, it is refers to the distance between the content that is stored, that is inside a certain view, and its edges or margins or edges. I can call them edges. For example, if I want to specify the distance between this text, which is the content, and the top side or on the left hand side, I have to do what? I have to specify the padding. Also, padding is just like margin, but padding is just for the opposite, because it is for ins, and then margin is for outs. So if I come and say padding without specifying, guess what? It means that this padding is going to be placed across all the sides. So if I put here 10 dp, you see it has been placed across all the side, and what has happened, the text inside has been placed far from the edges of this layout by that size. Okay, so if I go ahead and specify margin left, you see that will be for the margin left. I can also go and specify margin top, and then it will also be for the margin top. Padding top and padding what, and padding left. So we look at another attribute which is very common, and that is gravity. So gravity, we have two types of gravity. We have the gravity for the layout itself, and the gravity for the content inside the layout. So gravity, use it to center and align the text. So align the content inside the linear layout. So if I write here, for example, gravity, so it means that if it's not about the layout, if I write just gravity, it means that the content inside. This gravity is going to affect the content inside this particular layout. So if I press enter, I'll see possible things that I can do, I can implement, possible values that I can implement inside the gravity, whereby we have center, we have end, we have right, we have start, we have bottom. So I'll not explain all of them, I'll explain only the crucial ones. For example, if I want this text, because here if I say gravity without saying gravity layout, just gravity, it means that I'm referring to the content inside this layout. So if I want this text to begin at the end of this layout, I can just simply put text end. So you see it's going to become at the end point here. But this one works in case the width is much parent. Otherwise, if it is wrapped, then it won't work. Why? Because it will have been wrapped, so it is as minimum as possible, so it cannot have a place to move. So you can come and play with the rest, such as bottom. You see it has been placed on the bottom. You can come center, then to be placed in the center. We can come and say center vertical, center horizontal, vertical. You see it will be centered only in a vertical way. If we put center horizontal, center horizontal, it means that it will be centered only in the horizontal side on the y-axis. So you can come and play with them here. So if you want to see other possible attributes that you can get here, you just press Ctrl and space, then you see attributes that you can get about a certain layout. Okay, so if I put center, and then I'll have this element in the center of this layout. So let us see. If we remove the padding, let us remove padding as if the padding is being considered. So it is padding, it is here, padding top. If I remove it, you see it was considered because it has been moved to the original place. So that is gravity. But you saw there's another thing, gravity layout. When you talk about gravity layout, you're meaning that layout itself. For example, this one, gravity is for the content inside. So if I talk about gravity layout, I mean the action that should be taken to that particular layout itself, the whole of it. For example, this one is not centered. Okay, let me just okay, so as you can see, it's not centered. So if I come and put gravity layout, gravity layout, I can say center, but we can't see that it is centered because it is having some paddings. So to show that it's going to be centered, I'm going to specify the width and height. I'll first remove these margins, and then I come and specify I'll first remove the margins. I'll come and specify the width and height to be in a specific size. So I'll put height 150 and come and put the width 150. Okay, I can make it 180, and here also 180. So now you see, now what we are talking about, this is gravity layout. It is now working its task. So when I talk about gravity layout, I mean to the layout itself. Let me remove it first. So you see this layout has collapsed. So if I say gravity layout, layout gravity, okay, so I can say center horizontal, it will be centered horizontal. Center vertical, it will be centered vertical. But why is it not being centered vertical? It is because this one is much parent. It is because, why is it not? I don't know why it's not centering vertical, but I was expecting it to be here, okay, in the middle. So if I put center, it means that it's going to be what? In the center. I don't know what's doing that. Okay, because this one can only be controlled inside the horizontal itself, or the x-axis. So if I remove that gravity layout, I come and put the gravity layout on in the main and just put gravity. So it means that I'm now referring to the content inside this main layout, and that is only this black text box. So if I put center, then we should expect this black box to be what? In the center. I can press Ctrl space to get other possible options. For example, if I put in the bottom, then it will be what? In the bottom. If I put at the end, it will be what? At the end. So I hope you've got how the gravity works. But here, since it is the outer or the main parent layout, so I don't need to specify it's what? It's gravity, or it's layout gravity, because it is just the main parent. So we've looked at the background. Maybe one thing that we should look at is the what? Is the ID. So if I want to give the ID, just type ID and then put the @ ID and then /, and then you can give here your ID. Okay, so this ID will help us when you're creating the back end, because you use the ID to identify elements that we want to do what to work upon when you're doing the back end. I'll not go beyond here. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe now, and if you found this video helpful, remember to share and like and share it with your friends. Let us meet in the next video where we're going to look at the most common views in Android. Thank you for watching.